So, hi everyone, welcome to the pre-placement session. So, just let's get started. So, I would like each of the student coordinator to basically introduce themselves and they're from which college so that we can get started with the session. And you'll be taking the questions on behalf of your student. So, all those who are watching on YouTube, they can basically comment their name and question, and your student coordinator will be asking the question on your behalf. So, Harsh, I see you are from NMIMS. That's correct?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, Harsh, you're audible.
Oh, hi Abhishek, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good.
Basically, I'm from IIT BHU Varanasi.
Got
I'm
it.
the placement
Got it.
coordinator of IIT BHU.
Got it, Harsh. So it would be great if you can keep your camera open because you will be representing your college. Varun, you have joined from NMIMS, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I'm from SBM NMIMS, Mumbai, from
Okay.
MBA Digital Transformation and Business Analytics.
Got it. Got it. So who do we have joining from IIT Patna? Pranjal, Rishabh. Are you guys from IIT Patna?
No, sir. We are from IIT BHU.
I
We are colleague of Harsh.
got it. Got it. You three both are from. Okay, got it. No worries. So I guess we can get started. We'll let the IIT Patna coordinator in once he gets started. So welcome everyone to the pre-placement call. So in this call, we'll be basically introducing you a little bit about the AuroGroup, what we are doing. We have on board one of our co-founder, Marin. So he'll be also sharing some of the light. He'll be also talking to you guys. And post that we'll be having a Q&A session with Martin. Then we'll have Amar, the founder, come and speak something about AuroGroup. And we'll be taking further question and answer from their side. So, without any further ado, I'll let Martin to get started and speak something. And yeah, so Martin, over to you.
Right, thanks, Abhishek. Great, thank you very much. And let me add my welcome to everybody who's joining today. It's really, for me, I do call myself a bit of an old guy because I think I am compared to the young girls, guys and girls who are joining us. So I joke about that, but in a way I am. And I'd like to just give you a little bit about my background which I think will be help inform what we're trying to do and give you an idea of how we're going about it and why we're doing it. So my name's Martin Whitehead. I'm a British guy. I'm these days I'm based in Brazil, but I've had a very international career. I started off initially as a physics graduate, and then I did a PhD in astronomy. I very much came through the science route before going into the kind of professional services. So I spent my entire career in only two companies. I joined what was then Arthur Anderson, and then which is an accounting firm, and then I spent the bulk of my time at Price Waterhouse Coopers, where I was there for 20 odd years, and I spent 17 years as a partner with them. And that was a great career. It gave me so I only worked for two companies, which is very different, I think, to how the experience of a lot of the young folks are going to be going in their careers, where in them where there's a lot more change and a lot more move and short termism, which is just a way of changing the world. So going back to when I graduated, back at the end of the 80s, and when I started working, the world was very different, right? There was no, fax was a big thing then. There was no emails. There was, the digitization of the world had not really happened. It seems like a very different world to what it is now. So I grew, I spent half my life with no internet, right? So to give you an idea of, I say this because it's very different, I think, for you guys. So the world is very different, and the reason I'm stressing this is to try and highlight that because I feel in a way fortunate that I had one foot in the old world, but one foot very much in this new world. Now, back in my day, the way of thinking for new graduates, bright graduates like you folks, talented people entering the workforce was to join the biggest company you can and then stay there as long as you can. That was the mantra. It's very different now. The world is very different. The speed of change has accelerated tremendously. There's a lot more technology that just wasn't there before. And this whole world of startups, we're a startup, this company that we are now, Auro Sigma, working with the young folks that we've got now. A lot of startups, a lot of new companies coming on board that will be of great interest, I think, to the likes of yourself. So it's a very different thing, and people move around and change, and all of this is very different to what it was. To some people, it could be scary. I think what I'm trying to say to people is that although it's a very different world, I'm very enthused by it. I think you should be not scared of it. I think you should be, if anything, very enthused and very positive about the world, because of the changes that are happening, are opening up far more possibilities than there ever was in my day. There are risks and there are changes, but there's no need to be scared of them. And I say that as a background because going through my career, what I found was that working in professional services as an accountant and then as a partner, PwC, we hired a lot of people over the years. I've interviewed a lot of new joiners from university. We've hired them, and it's always great being working with new folks coming in to the workforce from university. And I think one of the things that I did see as I was doing my career was that there was no shortage of really bright people. Where the gap was maybe in them being aligned and ready, if you like, to start work from day one. So whilst they had the talent and the motivation and the skill and the enthusiasm, I noticed as time moved on, they were getting a little bit less ready, if anything, than we were, I think. They were more educated, but maybe less ready, less robust, and less aware of how things were in the workplace. And so there was a little bit of a gap coming. And this is something I noticed over the years. Now, the real co-founder of Auro Sigma is Amar and Andrew, who will be joining later. He funnily enough, saw the same gap rising as I did, but from his vantage point. I never met him until 15 years ago, where we met at Stanford University. We were both doing a master's program at the business school there. And so I remember Amar came through the finance route and investment route. He saw the same thing, really bright people coming on, but maybe a bit of a gap between them being fully ready and therefore a little bit of inefficiency, getting people really locked in and getting started. And I remember us talking about this in the early days of when we started the course together up in California, but we didn't do anything about it at that point, right? We each had our own careers. We didn't do anything about it. Fast forward to 2 years ago, and I'd been kept in touch with Amar, way after graduating, and he said to me again, that problem we discussed, if anything, is more acute, and I agreed with him, right? And he said, well, now the big difference now is let's do something about it because we've got more technology, but particularly we've got AI. So with AI and the speed of platform, the way we can do things now on platform, the technology means that problem is one that's much more addressable in a more meaningful way. And I fully agree with him. So I have to say, although I am one of the founders, the real brains behind what we're trying to do and the real credit goes to Amar. He had the vision, he's had the idea. And when we got talking, we said, look, let's put together a company, Auro Sigma, where we can really look at this issue. And because there's a real problem where we can help youngsters, bright, job ready, if you like, and ease them into that first job. And from there, they're just going to take off because we're dealing with really smart people. And so that is where Auro Sigma comes from. We use the tagline, if you like, learn to earn. So what we're trying to do is use the power of AI, get people to enable people to augment the studies that they're doing at college, at university, with learning that is not intrusive. It's not. It's only 1 to 2 hours per week, but it will fill in some of the gaps some of the practical, real world aspects of what's going on in areas they need to know about that will augment the courses that they're doing, but will really fill that gap so that when the time comes for them to get work, they are more robust, they're more ready to do that. The other part of what we're doing is through Auro Talent is our platform, which is to find places for people within internships and ultimate jobs, so that through the connections that we have and through the relationships that we have, that will get them into that crucial one. Because what we're seeing is in today's world that getting that introduction, getting that bit of experience on the board is proving to be absolutely pivotal. And those who do get that find then all kinds of things open up for them. And those that are unfortunate who take time or don't get that have a very much more difficult path. And it's almost not a fair system. It's not fair. But what we're seeing is that that we believe through the power of what we and other organizations are doing is using technology to help people not be scared or not be in any way seemingly looking at this as somehow a difficult situation. It's challenging, but we think you can look through technology. You can be really positive because the people who are using technology and are using AI, the opportunities are massively increased than they were before. So the world now, going back to what I was saying at the beginning, the world now is vastly different from when I came in the late 80s. I would say that it's a much better place, a much more positive place, if you're prepared to get skilled up and to continue to be skilled and to continue to embrace and use the technology that's out there. If you're prepared to be that, then there's tremendous things to happen. The old way is gone. I think the old way, you join a company, you stay for 30 years. I don't think that applies anymore. It may do in certain situations, but generally, I think people have to be adaptable. They have to keep learning. I'm an old person. I'm 61 now. I'm enthused to be working with the likes of Abhishek, these bright young and other colleagues that we've got in the company. They're keeping me young. I've kept learning. I mean, I even 3-4 years ago, I started a PhD. I finished it now at the London School of Economics in behavioural science, simply because I was interested. What I found is that I'm able to apply some of that learning in personality development and motivation in the work we're doing here at Two Sigma to inform what we're doing and to improve what we're doing. So I believe that that the world is extremely a positive place to be, the world of work, the future of work. I'm trying to, and the opportunity to work with folks in our organisation, like Abhishek and others, but to help people help themselves is something that I'm really enjoying, because I think it is a gap that but it's just a gap that the world has something that's just crept in. It's very much evident. You talk to any employer, they'll tell you that that gap is real. They all feel the same. There's tremendous skill out there, more learning than there's ever before. Let's just help it bridge that little gap that's there and help people fly. That's what we're trying to do at Aura to Sigma. And I'm looking forward to continuing to work and meet the likes of you folks who are here. And I'll end there and hand back to Abhishek. I just want to add again my thanks for everybody to join and welcome. And just to say, please feel really free to ask whatever questions. There's no daft questions. We love the questions. That's what we're here for. So please, if you're wondering, you're thinking, please ask, right? It's a very safe environment. We want you to feel very welcome and very able to get whatever information you need to help you kickstart what you need to do. So with that, I'll pass back to Abhishek. And please don't be shy, right? Please ask, right? We're here for.
So I have a question for you. So how does Oro Digital, differentiate itself from other AI automation providers? And had another question from my students, that what industries or client segments are you focusing on most right now?
That's right. So really, we are. There's no particular industry we're interested in. We're interested in helping anybody um, learn and develop themselves. And then in terms of making placements, it's very much whatever's out there in the market. And through our contacts, we expect and already have proven the concept that companies in need will come through us and look for bright recent graduates and interns. Obviously, there's a lot of demand in the more tech specific aspects of things, but we expect going forward a constant demand for people like yourselves, people with MBA, finance related, investment related, digital in all aspects, but much wider than that. I mean, we cater for something like we've managed to grade something like about 800 different types of jobs, right? Different specific categories of jobs that are out there, and we continue to add to them. So there is no singular, there's no, I think it's whatever the market and whatever's demanded by clients and the market is what we will be looking to provide. And so, obviously there's going to be a great match between what people are doing and what's required. So, but there's, I think there's something here for everybody. There's going to be some aspects in more demand than others, obviously. But the great thing these days is I think that if you're bright, and we're dealing with bright people on this call, employers know how adaptable brightness is, right? And so even, it's good to have certain skills for sure that can help you some of the time into certain careers, gives you a foot in the door. But if you're bright and smart and motivated and quick, right, and commercial, you can have those skills, whether no matter almost coming from any aspect of degree. And I can tell you from my experience as a recruiter when I was in PricewaterhouseCoopers, we looked more in that first instance. It helped if you got some finance, but quite often, I mean, I didn't do finance and I got recruited. I did physics. I went into finance from physics. I think these days it's the motivation, and it's the adaptability, the skills, the smartness, commerciality. Those things will almost provide you with an intro to almost to very many industries and job opportunities out there. And I'll tell you, companies are good at spotting that. Now, if you augment that through the right courses, through smart courses where you're filling, even particularly the type that we're offering and others are offering, you add them to whatever degree you're doing, you're filling in the gaps on your own initiative. That's going to be seen by employers, and they say, okay, this person's a smart person. They realize their net worth, they realize their brand value, if you like, and they filled in gaps. And that they're going to say, okay, this is a person with initiative. I like that. Right? They see gaps, they see areas where they want to improve, and they fill them. And that's going to look good as people move into the work environment. So, in short, to summarize what we're saying is we cater for everything on the or to Sigma side, and we're there to help you augment what you've got to get you that step forward into internship and into jobs, whatever they are.
So I think, Martin, that was helpful. So now we'll hear from our founder, Mr. Amar, and then we'll basically come back to the Q&A part and uh, help clarify any questions or any queries that you still have pending with yourself. So let me just try and play his introduction. Unfortunately, he's not able to join today, but from one of our previous sessions, we'll just try and show you his thoughts, and then we'll come back to the Q&A part. Yeah. Now for the video part, I suggest you focus on the YouTube part because it's a recording. He's not able to join this, so it will be audible on the YouTube.
That we've organized with a couple of ITs, namely Dhanbad and Jammu, to provide students a chance to get to know us better and to also ask questions. We've done this info session with a few IITs, and we've also been recruiting from all the prominent IITs for over 10 years. So my name is Amar Anand. I'm founder of the AuroGroup. We have a number of ventures and an investment fund that we run. We'll be walking you through each one of those quickly.
Later, the
And then we've
video,
also
his
got our
introduction video
team
is playing,
from
so you
some of the
can watch
ventures
that on YouTube.
to give you a sense of what the experience is like. Most of them are IIT alumnuses, and they're going to talk a little bit about their own experience. And then you guys have a chance to ask all of us questions as well. So with that, let me just kick off a little bit of my background. So, I grew up in India, went to St. Stephen's College, did economics honors, went on to the London School of Economics to do my master's in finance and economics, and then was at Stanford Business School. Started my career back in 2000 at McKinsey and Company in New York. That was management consulting largely for financial institutions globally, and then joined one of my clients, which was Citigroup in New York, to have a position on the M&A committee and essentially help manage their $2 trillion balance sheet with investments across the world. We prominently made the largest investment in HDFC Bank and HDFC Corp, the mortgage company, before most people had kind of heard of HDFC. And then, several investments globally, including Akbank in Turkey, Bank Handler in Poland, Banamex in Mexico, Household in the US, et cetera, et cetera. I started my first Web 2.0 venture back in 2006. It was the first cohort of Web 2.0 ventures, a company called eTime is Money, where we came up with a model for people to set a price for their time and to essentially leverage the business process of shoring movement in in India, largely from Western markets. Very fortunate at the time to become the top 50 startups in the US. It was a class that had Mark Zuckerberg, LinkedIn. So if you Google that, you'll see some presentations that we made at the time along with these gentlemen. And didn't realize how big Web 2.0 is going to become. But got an offer to head up one of the large private equity firms in Asia. So I think wrongly took that on to join Cinven in Europe, and later found that some of these companies that we presented in went on to become the largest companies in the world. Uh, but moved on from there. So did private equity for a few years, large buyouts of multi-billion-dollar companies across the world, and then in 2012 helped start Taiwan Capital in Hong Kong, which was a spin-off out of Lone Pine Capital in Asia. Lone Pine is one of the large tiger funds. You may have heard of Tiger Global. So very similar strategy to that. Um, so we grew that into one of the largest funds in Asia. Early investors in Uber, Palantir, Flipkart, Snapdeal, Car.Deco, 1MG, Tokopedia, Alibaba, et cetera, et cetera. In addition to also large investments on the public side. So, for example, one of the largest investors in the Bank after the Hindujas. In 2017, we spun off uh, Auroville, which was meant to be a venture studio, because we realized that there was a lot of exciting opportunities very early stage in tech, and we were losing some of our data scientists to these opportunities from the fund. And so we essentially gave the data scientists an opportunity to essentially come up with ideas, and we backed them to start ventures, which initially started in the blockchain space, which was really hot in 2018. And so that has now grown into about a dozen ventures across the venture studio. So Abhishek, if you have that handy, you can quickly bring that up. We can quickly go through the list, and then pass the mic over to our teammates from a couple of the ventures. So Auro Digital, the first one, as you can see, is based in the US. It's one of our flagship ventures. It's the new name for a NASDAQ listed company where we acquired the OMS BMS company called Diginex, which was a trading software platform. We've since built that out to be one of the largest infrastructure players within blockchain. So it's connected to about 105 centralized exchanges, about 120 DEXs, all the large OTC desks, and many of the large qualified custodians around the world. We've got two of our colleagues, Aditya and Navas from AuroDigital, who will also talk about their own experience from that. The IMS is an investment management system that is actually been moved from the US. It's now headquartered in Luxembourg. It's a marketplace for asset managers to raise capital. AIML is that's artificial intelligence machine learning platform to create a suite of prediction models for digital assets. So it's everything from GANs, WGANs, LSTMs, transformer models, where we essentially predict the price of digital assets and also invest in them. Auro.edu is another flagship venture. It has essentially disrupted the education space by creating a fully native AI app that curates a customized curriculum for students, everyone from class 11 upwards to professionals. And it also has a powerful learn to earn model where we're focused on a big problem in India, which is that a lot of the engineering colleges are half empty, and even the folks that are enrolled have less than half of the class actually finds a job after they graduate. Less of a problem in IIT, though we've actually seen that same phenomenon play out in the IITs as well to a lesser extent. So we've got two of our colleagues from Auro.edu, Nikhil and Shresh, with us as well to talk about their experience. I'll run through the others pretty quickly. The idea is just to give you a flavor of all of the types of innovation that's happening within the AuroGroup. So Auro.ai is a robo-advisor. So it's a fintech asset manager. Ideal Development is a co-innovation and co-working company. Auro Yoga is a health tech company. Shub.in is one of India's leading content publishing and book publishing companies. AuroBridge is a German company that is one of the first to issue fully licensed tokens that tokenize real estate infrastructure and green bonds in Europe. AuroBet is a betting platform, which is a prediction markets for real world events, like who wins the US election, for example. Orosui Clear is a JV with Sui, which is a spin-off from Facebook or Meta, as they now call it. Oracle is a venture where we essentially have a very deep data lake of pricing of various types of assets that we provide to various protocols. AuroDex and AuroLiquid are our proprietary DEX aggregator, where we basically have algorithms that are able to get the best price from multiple liquidity pools. And the last point is that the ones in all caps are Web3, and the ones in non all caps are basically Web2 projects. And so as you can see, AI and blockchain sort of run prominently across all of these companies. So with that, I'll pause and pass the mic on to our digital. So Aditya, Navaz, whoever wants to kick off, and both of them are senior team members.
Yes, so we'll be taking a few more questions from Martin, and then Martin will be leaving. So yeah, go ahead. Whatever question you had, go ahead now. It's the time.
Yeah, so sir, one question was that with the times right now, and we are seeing rapid transformation in tech. So how do you ensure that the solutions they remain scalable and are adaptable to rapid tech changes?
So for that, the first thing that is always done is done mystery shopping to analyze what is happening in the market, to analyze what kind of research is already built in. And the second thing is we always try. So that's how Auro AI Venture Studio becomes such a big arm with so many companies. So what was we tried and touched on each different aspects of venture, starting from RWA, which is very new concept, real world asset. It's very few companies are doing real world asset tokenization in India. So that's what we wanted to do because we had AuroAI, Auroville, which was basically an investment firm. So that started with some of our good talent leaving out, starting their own ventures, and we started investing in those ventures. For some of our talent were working for us in Auroville, we started investing in them, and by that we ensure that all the guys who join AuroGroup stay motivated, get to learn new concept each and then. So we are very highly focused on the blockchain and AI element. Even on the AuroEd, which is that tech platform, contain both the parts, blockchain and AI, very rigorously, where all your certificates, everything will be stored on blockchain. So it's get verified automatically. There's no chance of any discrepancy in the certificate. So we tried and implement all the new technologies into our system. So that's how we kept it by seeing what is happening in the industries. So what happens is we tend to attend lots of conferences, all the teams, including the founders, and we learn from the conferences happening all around the globe, like what is happening new in the world, starting with real world asset or blockchain or any new technology. So that's how we adapt to it. So I think that's
Yeah,
one
I
of the
mean,
question. Yep.
let me add to that as well. Absolutely spot on, Abhishek. I mean, the other dimension I think we're quite close to is we're quite close to another deep interest in research that's coming out of universities and stuff. So we are quite we see the value of research both coming out from the commercial side, but also some of the latest stuff that's actually coming out of universities. So that we quite you need to keep close to that because as we were saying before, the speed of change now and the adaptation of new technology is so fast. It's remarkable compared to having been around in the late 80s. I find it amazing how fast business is changing. So we have to be at the front of that curve, that frontier, and we are trying to, as Abhishek says. And it's a case of keeping your eye open and being very finger on the pulse of what is going on and what the next thing is going to be, and you need to know about it. And that's what we try to do.
And I'll take particular questions. So I see NMIM has right, those guys and mentioned the name in the chat. So I'll take question from Jashreen Kaur, who asked a specific question on the chat. So she wanted to understand what analytical role does your company offer and what skill set would you advise us to develop. So every role require analytical knowledge, but if we talk about specific heavy analytical knowledge kind of role, so those would be three mainly. One would be business analyst, the other would be product manager, and the third would be AIML engineer. So in business analyst, you will basically need to learn different kind of analytical tool, starting with basic Excel to the advanced version like Power BI, which we currently use, and understand how the user engagement is going around, what kind of scope they are doing it. Now, for the product management, you need to learn certain tools like what is RISE, what is ICE, what is the impact that your decision is making, what are the stakeholder that is dependent on that. So those kind of understanding you need to learn. And for the AI part, you need to learn different kind of regression models, like which model will be working on a specific use case, whether it's WGAN, GAN, transformer. So all those kinds of skills will be required. So that's for Jasreen. And Martin, I'll let you answer this question. So this is from Sunidhi Sharma. So she's asking, what is the biggest near-term opportunity that you see in AI industries, finance, retail, or healthcare? We can talk about edtech as well because we are leveraging AI very well in the edtech domain. So you can answer that question.
Yeah, sure. So what the name of the lady who asked the question?
Sunidhi Sharma.
Sunidhi. Okay, great question. In terms of where the biggest disruption is going to be in those industries, right? I mean, it's very hard to say. What I would say is that my industry that I spent my career in, I'll mention first before those industries. So I was in consulting, and prior to consulting, I trained as a chartered accountant and did auditing. So just from the auditing, accounting industry, and moving more into the consulting side of things, I would say that industry is changing absolutely enormously. Sorry, I've just got someone at the door. I'll just keep talking as I just let someone here. Sorry. Those industries are changing absolutely fundamentally, I would say, and in fact, I've been seeing just in these last 2-3 weeks the structural changes that are being announced in those industries in terms of the number of the types of roles and the number of people who will be required. And it can be quite sobering to look at it, because in my day, you needed lots of lower level people who got trained to do things like find stuff on research and do computations, etc., and do calculations. And in auditing, you were looking at certain transactions or certain ledgers. That's all going to go. A large amount that's going to go because AI is going to do a lot of that, which might seem scary. No, new jobs are coming in, which will require the people who can use AI skills, who are adaptable to be able to use the research tools, the sort of that we have now, the sort of things Abhishek was saying. The people who are adaptable to use them, that's where the skill moves up. So and this applies across the board in all industries. The way we used to say in the old days was the grunt work, if you like. The more you roll your sleeves up and less thinking but more doing. Those roles have been taken out, and oh dear, is that a bad thing? No, it's a great thing. Nobody wanted to do those anyway. I remember when I first started as an accountant, we had to do things like certain aspects of computations, and that were terrible, but had to be done. And that's what we were used for. We were, the younger ones are cheaper to do it, so you do the grunt work. I think a lot of the so-called grunt work is just going to go in every industry that there is, right? Which means that those less interesting aspects of the job that in the old days you have to say, well, we have to do it, you have to do it, you get experience by doing that, and then 10 years from now, 15 years from now, you'll be more in the managerial thinking roles, and it'll be more exciting. I think the world's going to be, well, those grunt stuff's going to go, and almost people coming in are going to be immediately doing more interesting things. It's true that there'll be less of them, I think, but they'll be spread wider, I think. So, you're going to get more breadth, and you're going to get. I believe you're going to get flatter organisations. I think we're seeing that right now. So in consulting, you just read now, it's not great number. The number of graduates that require is going down. That is true. I think the types of job, though, are changing massively. If you can apply yourself, we're in the world now of continuous learning new stuff. You've that ability and that acceptance that you've got to do that is a very real thing now. It used to be. I can remember even in my lifetime, people say, "Well, I've learned enough now. I just want to just apply now, not learn much more." Those days have gone. And so I would say that coming to the examples, the question asked about finance. So in a way, what I've said for consulting, I think applies to finance for sure. So these are major changes to finance and the accounting. I think you can then roll that over into the legal profession. A lot of the heavy duty back end legal research stuff is going to be taken up. But what the good news is that so the heavy lifting of the back end stuff is going to be replaced in everything. The good news is that the thinking parts of it always going to be there. So if you are a person, and I think everyone on this call, this applies to, if you want to think and apply self and to have informed thought process and you think through stuff logically, those skills will never go away. I'm pretty sure about that, right? So and so you have to remember less. If you just think back in my lifetime, people did well in exams are the ones who could remember a lot. Well, that changed in my lifetime, and suddenly even 30 years ago, you started to be able to take books into exams. That was never the case when I started. So when I finished at school or university, you couldn't take a book in. You had to remember stuff. Then people realize, well, you don't need to remember. That's not a real skill. If the information's there, why should you have to remember it? We need to the application. And that's just accelerated even more. So the ability to think and to sift the wheat from the chaff, right? Anybody can get information from the internet. But the ability to actually put it in context, to think about it, stand back, think logically, what information do I have? What's a sensible way of interpreting it? The way of thinking, the thought process, the smart thinking, as I'd call it, those will never go. If you've got that and you need that, you're going to do great because you'll keep whatever comes, whatever changes, you take it on board, right? It's just the speed of taking that on board is going to be more and more than it's ever been. And if you're a person who then says, well, okay, I'm okay with that, you're going to do great. It's going to do great in this world. It doesn't matter which industry you go in. So it's a great question, which industry is going to be most affected. I would say, in a way, it kind of doesn't matter. They all are going to be virtually, unless, virtually any industry that you might want to be in and rise in, that industry is going to be massively effective. That's what our research says. And all the employers we're talking to in the different segments, they're saying the same thing. So the reality is that they don't know that the world is changing so fast. Even the leaders, if anyone tells you, I know what the future is going to be, 10 years, I know what the impact is going to be, they're not telling you the truth. They don't know. There's a certain amount of suck it and see and let's go along. And you've seen the investment that's been announced in AI by the likes of Google and by the likes of Elon Musk, etc. These are enormous amounts going in. So the answer is it's going to be absolutely transformative. But our message, I think, from us and to all youngsters who are coming through is, does that present a scary situation? Not at all. It's certainly going to be turbulent. It's certainly going to be hard to predict. But with the right attitude, and I think we're trying to encourage that, it's just going to make work better, right? The really naff, lousy back end grunt type work to a large extent, it's going to go. And you've got to say, well, that's a good thing, isn't it? And the answer I think is yes. Yeah. So let's him. So if you embrace it, open up, and keep the right attitude, and tremendous things are coming, I think. And you won't have to suffer some of the learning we had to do in the less good, less glamorous parts of any job, which always forms part of it. It's going to be still some, of course, but a large part's going to go, and that has to be a good thing. Okay, Abhishek, here you go. Okay. All right. So thanks. All right. So let me just say thanks everybody for joining. Please do ask questions to Abhishek, right? He's one of our best and brightest. He's very open. So please, anyone even thinking about it, please, we really welcome questions, right? Any doubts, what do we do? How can I get involved? Please ask, right? That's what we're here for. That's what Abhishek's here, and he'll be delighted to answer your questions. And just want to wish you, thank you again, and wish you great luck as you go forward. It's a very positive time. Have a great rest of your session. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. That was really helpful. So I saw a few questions coming up, like what would be the career progression look into Oro. So for that, I'll just introduce you some of the new team members who joined like last year prior to that to give you a basic idea. And then I'll be showing you what's the process going to be, round one, how's the round one application going to be, when will the result be declared, what is the round two start, and what is the round three going to be. We'll just quickly introduce to some of the team members, and then we'll jump back to the Q&A where I'll be solving your part, what is the round one, what is the round two. So you can just go back to YouTube to continue to the team introduction.
Major was in mechanical engineering, and
of a firm called Water Tower Research, looking to expand that business as well. So nice to meet everyone.
hi guys, I'm Aditya, and I graduated from IIT Delhi in 2023. My major was in mechanical engineering, and since then I'm a full stack developer at Auro Digital, where I contribute to both backend and front end system, as well as I am responsible for managing the CI/CD pipelines as well. So let me tell you about briefly what our day-to-day looks like. So for front-end development, we ensure that our platforms are user-friendly and visually appealing by building intuitive and responsive interfaces. We work extensively with React.js, TypeScript to create seamless user experience, and we also like have a significant focus on performance optimizations as well, because like in order to remove the UI latency as much as possible so that our clients can use our tools effortlessly. On the backend side, we develop robust APIs mostly using Python, and we work closely with databases like Redis and Postgres to implement efficient data storage and retrieval mechanisms. And for CI/CD pipelines, we mostly work with Ansible, GitHub Actions, and Docker to design CI/CD pipelines that automate testing and development, as well as the monitoring procedures. So yeah, handing over to Nawaz, he can guide you more on the backend side.
Yeah. Hey guys, so I'm Nawaz Zafar. I'm a lead Python developer in Auro Digital. So the product that we are building is OEMS, which is Order and Execution Management System. So a brief background on me. So I'm also a 2023 graduate. Me and Aditya were in the same batch, and we got selected for Auro Digital, and it has been a great experience as we got to learn a lot about algorithmic trading and how these system works, and how like crypto is redefining the future, as we say. And we are building as we are creating the future. So that's pretty interesting. We are not as we are creating new innovative solutions in the backend space. So the backend stack is mostly Python based, where we have a lot of different Docker containers which manages different services. So we have balances, we have algo execution, we have exchange management, and we have everything in between. And we also have a very interesting decentralized integrations as well. So yeah, overall, my experience in Auro Digital has been very great. I got to learn a lot here. So over to you, Anasa.
Yep, thanks, Navaz. So maybe we can now move to Shrey, who can talk about his experience at Auro.edu.
Yeah, okay. So hi guys, I'm Suresh Jaiswal and I'm working at Auro.edu. So Auro.edu is basically the edtech side of Auro, and we are creating this platform for upskilling, and I'm working here as a product manager. So if you have seen the app of Auro.edu, I have designed it completely. So with Auro.edu, we are trying to achieve, to create a platform for, everyone who wants to learn and as well as, uh, connect with the jobs, internships, freelance opportunities. So in a way, we are trying to fill the gaps between, learn to earn. Because you have seen like people in the market, they are learning from various platforms. Some they are learning from YouTube and everything. But learning is just the first step, right? So after learning, you need to connect with the right opportunities as well. So with that goal in mind, I started working already. So before that, like I have 6, 7 years of experience. I passed out in 2018. So initially, I was working in edtech sector of like K-12. So we were building a product for JEE, NEET, and those exams. So I have myself cleared those exams. So I started with that domain. So, but like from last 2 years, I have been working in this upskilling sector. So for mostly college students and professionals. So the very good thing about Auro.edu is we are trying to use the latest technology like AI, as you have seen, like AI is it has gotten so much power now. So we are leveraging AI in Auro.edu and trying to build a platform where where AI can assist you in a way which is so personalized, and it knows everything about you and can help you at every step. So Auro.edu is not just about learning. AI is along the way, and it will help you with doubt solving, revision, and it will create you custom courses. Like if you give a exam and you see you have some weak concepts, so it will create you a custom course just for those weak concepts, dedicated for you, personalized. And also we have built this engagement on our Auro.edu app, because learning is just one part. Engagement is something where you actually explore the other side of learning. So the whole app is gamified and fully engaged. So you can connect with other people. You can talk to experts in chat rooms, and there's e-money or a coin system in the app. So in a way, this app is, a whole platform what we need at this time, because there are so many platforms. But Auro.edu is something, it starts with the learning part, and then tutoring, mastering, and then at the end it's the earning. So we are connecting learning to earn. So we are not just uh, a platform which I would say you just go and start a course and learn and finish. So at the end, you will get the opportunities, freelance, full time, and internship and everything. So that's what we are trying to build in order to do. So in the future, like if you are gonna have any doubts related to product, not just the learning part, but any doubt related to the product, like any feature, anything, you can ask me in this meeting. Yeah. So now handing over to Nikhil, it's our backend developer.
Hello. So I'm Nikhil. I passed out in 2016 and have been working for Auro.edu for last 8 months. So the backend architecture of AuroEdu is mostly based on Python and Flask. There are multiple microservices, and the middleware is in Node.js Express. For databases, we sometimes use Mongo, but mostly we use MySQL. And yeah, so for our Gen AI needs, sometimes we use ChatGPT, but most of the time we rely on Gaia.net, which is an uh, open source Gen AI platform where anyone can upload their own models and they can host their own nodes, right? And for some ML-based tasks, we are using BERT and other models. So in the backend, I would say we use multiple tools based on their usage. So whatever the requirement is, we pick the best suitable tool and then we start using it. Uh, that's all for backend. Over to Omar.
Great, thanks, Nikhil. Okay, so you've now heard from quite a few IIT alums who are currently part of our team. We have several, as I said, been working with IITs for over a decade, most closely with Delhi, because that's just close to our one of our data science centers, but with all of the IITs as well. Okay, so with that, we'll break into Q&A in case there are any questions.
Hello, sir. My name is Akash Bhartwaj. I'm from IIT Chennai. I'm also a placement coordinator and as well as a student over here. I'm tech student. And my question was like, there are a lot of products that you have just discussed about. EdTech product is the product based on Web3 and Web2. So how does the ideation process goes on for all these products? So in the initial phase, how does
The what process? Sorry, the what process?
ideation process?
Ideation. Yeah. No, that's a critical part of because we're at the very early stage. So we're at sort of, I mean, the projects start sort of pre-seed, and we typically come in at the pre-seed level. So it's all about ideation. And so what happens is that it's called a venture studio for a reason, as opposed to an incubator or an accelerator. You probably have heard all of these, and I know there are accelerators at IIT as well. So a venture studio, the difference is that in a venture studio, you are kind of not only incubating, but you're also building from within. So what we tend to do is we leverage extensively our own networks of people. And so a lot of the initial ideas and the initial founders come from within the network, as opposed to just, meeting somebody who you don't know at all, and then sort of just investing in their project. So that's the nuance between a venture studio and an incubator. So the template is that 25 years and have done that across, most probably the US, China, and India, but then, also across Western Europe and Asia, Greater Asia. So, Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, Australia. So have seen a lot of the investment teams that have started early on, in the US. So if you look at the e-commerce team, we've invested in that globally. So, we invested early on in, eBay and Amazon. And then when the biggest opportunity in e-commerce moved to China, we invested in Alibaba, Tencent, Baidu. And then finally, when the opportunity moved to India, we were part of the biggest cash burn war ever seen in internet history, which was between Flipkart, Snapdeal, Shopclues, Paytm, and Amazon. And so my point is that we've seen a lot of these investment themes play out globally, and we kind of know the pattern, and what has been successful and what can be successful going forward. Of course, the past is not always a predictor of the future, but there's quite a lot of investment acumen because of that in the team. And that's just not myself. There are others who've been part of that journey with me. And so when we ideate in the venture studio, we have a pretty good handle on what we think is a powerful idea, and we tend to first invest in it ourselves. So we seed all of these companies ourselves, and then we allow other external investors to come in. So, for example, in Aditya and Nawaz's company, Aura Digital, we now have two prominent VCs from Silicon Valley, Inventors Capital and Silicon Valley Quad, who've come in and done the subsequent round.
Thank you, sir.
So
And
thanks for
that
the
answers
question.
the question.
Thank you. All right. Any other questions?
Yes, sir. Requesting you to please describe the blockchain developer role.
Yeah, sure. So Nawaz, I'll allow you to come in as well, but let me kick it off. So, the languages that we tend to code in most frequently are obviously Solidity and then Rust. But we're also, given the partnership that we have with Sui, which is the Meta Facebook spinoff, that is all done in language called Move. And then, we're also actually now actively looking for Golang developers as well. So within the blockchain space, those are the four sort of prominent languages that we code in. And then, in fact, one of our hires from IIT, Rohit, who joined us from IIT Delhi, has done some fantastic work in that area. So we built this very cool aggregator, which is a bit like Jupiter, which is which is a text aggregator on Solana, which is valued over $1 billion. So that just focuses on 8 to 10 dexes within within the Solana ecosystem. We've been able to extend that to a number of other blockchains, both EVM and non-EVM. So that's an example of somebody like yourself, coming in and kind of building, with Oro and leveraging all of the.
So I hope that was helpful. So we have answered most of the question apart from some like what asked on the chat, like Garvet asking what is the crypto looking like right now in India? What are the opportunities in this domain going forward? So right now, India is not so crypto friendly as we all know, right? There are very regulatory compliance that are limiting India in crypto, but there are some drafts written right now regarding the RWA side and Gift City. There are some plans regarding the real world asset that's coming into the Gift City. A draft has been written right now, which is sent to the parliament. We are also the part and that taking the decision around the crypto regulation draft. But that's not finalized yet. But obviously, we are a global company, so our main target regions are countries like Hong Kong, Dubai, UK, USA, Germany. So on the tokenization part, like someone asked, like, what is the tokenization going to look like? So already it's licensed. Like countries like Germany are giving licenses. So it's already licensed. It's already started there, where you can basically get a part of a solar power plant. So that's how big real world tokenization is. Now you can be a part of a solar plant. You can get token worth of that solar plant, and you own that particular solar power plant. Going down to a lower level, like your car can be converted down to a real world asset. Like similarly, what you're holding a Bitcoin, you will hold the value of that car using a particular real world asset. And depending on the demand of your particular car, the model, the craze around that, the value of that asset will increase. So that's how the domain is basically changing. Now, after answering that, I would like you all guys to help you with the rounds so that you are clear how you are going to be applying and what are the processes that you will be following there. So each of the coordinator must have received links for internship as well as for the full-time role. So once you click on the internship or the full-time role for the first time, it will basically ask you to sign up. So you have to register your email ID and sign up. So students who are interested in multiple roles, they can sign up for multiple. They have to just sign up once and re-click on the link again and again and appear for one mandatory test that is there in that course. So suppose you're going for blockchain developer. Blockchain developer has a course called smart contract. So you have to clear that smart contract task test and then you have to click submit it. It will automatically get fetched and we will basically declare the results. So what we have done is it's a self-paced task because we want students to do this on their own when they are fully active and their mind is fully focused. You can do it anytime. The only catch is you will just get one attempt. If you fail a quiz once, you have been disqualified from that round, right? You cannot go ahead without clearing all the quiz. So because you saw that the kind of talent that we have and the kind of coordinators you are present right now, you're from all the top colleges, including IIT and MMS. So it's going to be a good competition, and that's why we offer very good packages. So you have to basically complete that. So round one is right now getting opened from today, right? You coordinators already have the links. You just have to go there and click that. We'll also share you the detailed steps if you need any, but it's very clear. You have to just go on the link, click it. Each student, you have to just circulate the link for internship and for full time. They have to click it. They have to appear for the first assessment. Once they click on apply job, they'll be popped to complete a particular assessment. There are two assessments. It's recommended two, but two is not a mandation. If you even complete one assessment, you'll be moved to the next one. So why we kept two is basically sometimes when the student is getting habituated to the platform, they might not be able to get habituated and they do mistake in one test. That's why we have kept one test as a buffer for you, which you can do if you want. If not, if you're doing one, that's good enough. So on Monday, we'll be basically declaring the result of the round one, which was held across multiple colleges. So the student who gets selected in the round one, now depending on whether they are in tech profile or non-tech profile, they'll be either given a coding test or in non-tech, they'll be given an experiential test where they would have to perform a small task depending on the role they are performing. Digital marketing, some SEO writing contest on, or suppose it's an investment analyst or business analyst, there will be some data set given. You have to basically analyze the data and recommend it. So those kind of very fun tasks that would be given. And we usually prefer students do this task on weekend. That's why we'll keep that open for a week as well, where student will get the weekend time to complete the task. And we'll be revealing the result of that the next Monday, which will be further followed by the interview rounds. So in interview round, it's very clear. All the students who have cleared to the interview round just have interview, one technical interview, one interview with the founder or the HR. So that's going to be the whole flow of the round, right? Some colleges like IITs offer 2 months internship during the summer, so that puts what is going to be. Some MBA colleges, I'm not sure about NMIMS, offers a 6 month internship as well. So that option will also be available for the student if they basically want to take that option. That is also be available for the student. And obviously, the full time will start in the month of June or May, depending whenever your end semester ends. So that's how the process is going to be. So I'll let you guys have like I think it's already more than 1 hour, but I'll still let you guys ask any further few last questions that you have, and then we can basically wrap up the session. Yeah. Anyone wants to go ahead? Yeah.
Then you'll give an additional assessment to the students on Monday.
Who have qualified the round one test. So we'll declare the round one test on Monday and we'll give them on Tuesday or Wednesday. So next week we'll give them the round two for all the students who have clarified the round one test, right? So there are going to be few students because it is going to be a tough test, right? It's going to be similar to the JE advanced level that you guys took, and for CAT level for all the NMIMS guys that have gone through CAT, right? So it's going to be advanced, but if you have studied in that particular role, you have the conceptual knowledge, then it's fine for internship. For full time of placement, if you're applying, there might be some practical question asked, which you might have learned in the internship that you have done prior to your final year, like in the third year and your second year. So that kind of question might be asked for the full time. For the internship, it will be quite easier, conceptual, and you have to basically have a strong grip on the concept and be able to clear that out. So that's how it's going to be. Yeah. Any other question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after that, like, can you just explain what will be the timeline for the interviews?
So
Because
interview
there's a
will be
standard
two.
timeline that IITs follow, right?
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying the interview mostly gets wrapped up in a day only, because that's how we'll be working with all the IITs and the top colleges, and the result is declared the next day. Because all the IITs have a particular date allocated for their interview slot, so that's how we follow it. For colleges like NMIMS and IM also, it works in a similar pattern. They have a particular date of interview date. All the round, the two round will be
So that's fine. So the only time that will be taking is during the round 1 and round 2. That's why we are starting it earlier, so that all the students have sufficient time and there is no rush during the interview time. So that's the main purpose. Yeah, so if everything is clear, I'll think we'll take a bid here, and thank you guys. Hoping to see some of your face joining our company and welcoming here. So yeah, all the best.
It was great. It was